Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Earlier, we were discussing the Taylor Swift effect and somehow got on the subject of Beyonce and Rihanna as well. Um, Now we're going to be diving into a bill that has been introduced in California to ban tackle football for children under the age of 12. Um, I don't exactly know when the bill was introduced, but earlier last week it was said that California's Governor Gavin Newsom uh, said he would turn down the bill whenever it came to his desk. The proposal, which has gradually banned tackle football for children under the age of 12 by 2029, cleared a legislative committee last week and was poised for a vote in the state assembly before the end of the month. But even if the bill were passed, Newsom's pledge not to sign it means there is little, if any, chance of it becoming a law this year. While California lawmakers have the power to override a veto, they have not done that in more than 4 decades. There is some already, California has already made some regulations with youth tackle football. Newsom signed a law that took effect in 2021, limiting teams to just 2 full contact practices per week of not more than 30 minutes each during the regular season. The law also required youth tackle football coaches to have training on concussions and other head injuries. So.
Okay. Now, I approach this, I'm torn with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm a guy that pretty much played tackle football from age 5
Mm-hmm.
to early 20s,
Mm-hmm.
late teens, early 20s, and loved it. And that was part of my fabric of who I've been over the years. And then you look at football and the way it's broken down and you look at weight division, by divisions. It's traditionally Pee Wee. I mean, there's tiny mites, which are ages 5, 6, and 7, under 89 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, then there's another division, like the Mighty Mites, which is age 7, 8, and 9. And I just had to look this up because I didn't know this off the top of my head, but I knew the divisions, which is 140 pounds and under.
Mm-hmm.
Junior Pee Wee, 8, 9, 10, 11, 129 pounds, 109 to 129 pounds, and then Pee Wee, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I'm a product of that system.
Mm-hmm.
Played it for years, and some of my best experiences was playing Pee Wee football, and never really, I don't ever remember a really tough hit
Yeah.
at all. But as you know, growing up in a different era where, no one thought about concussions
Mm-hmm.
and brain trauma. A brain is a brain, and brain trauma, it is showing that it has had an effect on
Right.
people.
Mm-hmm.
What has really brought attention to my eyes is how many NFL players are like, no, my kid is not playing football,
Mm-hmm.
or no, my kid will not play tackle football until they get to high school.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is the big one, is how many football players that I've seen, professional football players that I have seen, that has taken an approach that, nope, my kid will play flag football
Mm-hmm.
up until you get to high school age.
Mm-hmm.
And which tends to make, that's how the times have changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, the game has changed so much. And you look at so many players that have died early or has had major mental issues. And I think about Junior Seau, who committed suicide. I mean, not to bring it such a tough situation and finding out about the CTE with him. Um, CTE is a real thing, and it really does affect a lot of people, and it goes undiagnosed because you can't figure out what happens until, after someone has died, until you figure this out. And you look at, everyone thinks about the NFL, but one out of thousands of people actually make it to the NFL. But there are millions of kids who play football around the country, around the United States, that are like me. Started playing when I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. By the time you're 18, some of these kids have played Pee Wee football for 13 years.
Yeah.
And now you start looking at, okay, what the effects of concussions have on a kid for 13 years, making it so you can still enjoy the game, but maybe doing away with the Mighty Mites and the Pee Wee games, so that, especially when kids are developing, kids develop, the biggest point in time where they're developing is from infancy till about 13, 14. So if you think about it and you look at the way a lot of these NFL players are saying, is like, not until they get to high school. Well, you don't get to high school. You're what? You're 15 when you get to high school?
Mm-hmm.
That age 5 to 15, that's a 10-year period where, hey, you can play flag football, but maybe not take these hits. Maybe that's helping kids. So I can see why they're doing it. There's just not enough evidence. There's just not enough studies, and there's no way to study this. Right now, with present technology, there is no way to determine what happens to a kid who's been playing Pee Wee football from age 5 to 18 and what has happened to their brain. Do they, I would love to see a study that shows, hey, kids, does it show like kids, their grades, their functionality of how they're functioning as an adult has been affected by playing it? There's nothing there. Mm-hmm. It's just a safety precaution that is being proposed, but there's no real hardcore evidence that I have seen. I haven't seen everything.
Right.
But I don't see anything that has been put where there's been this extended study of the effect of Pee Wee football. So when you look at the situation where football is sewn into the fabric of America, nothing says America more. Everyone talks about the old saying, baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie is America. No, the hell is not. It's football. Mm-hmm. Football comes first, and then everything else.
Yeah.
And so I think there should be multiple studies. Our government should be stepping in and doing these research to see what is happening mm-hmm. to kids. But I understand why it's there. And sometimes, do you think it's better to veer on the side of being safe? Or do you say, hey, football's always been a part of our society? What do you say, Faith? A little heavier than our normal conversations, isn't
it? In my opinion, I think it should be the parents' decision. The parents can decide whether or not they want their kid playing tackle football. Should a bill be introduced? I don't know. Because then what if there are kids that do want to play and their parents also want them to play tackle football, and then they just can't up until they're 12, I'm
going to tell you this. Okay, go ahead. I'll let you finish this.
Nighter Gang commented, it's not like these are strong, speedy athletes. They're kids. They'll be fine playing. It
Mm-hmm.
builds character, social skills, and teamwork.
What's his
So,
name again? What
Niner
was it?
Gang.
Niner Gang. Okay. Niner Gang. I kind of feel the way you feel. I'm a product of Pee Wee football.
Mm-hmm.
And the big, massive hit just doesn't happen at that age.
No,
Heck,
I don't think so as well.
I've been hit harder, just wrestling in the backyard as a little kid or
Mm-hmm.
jumping a ramp and flipping over my bike, something like that. So I kind of understand where Niner Gang is coming from and agree with him.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Also, if you are a kid who's a talented kid and in one state you can't play tackle football until you're 15, 16 years old, I'm going to tell you that kid that just starting out football at 15, 16 is going to have a heck of a lot harder time
Mm-hmm.
making it to not the pros, making it to college,
Mm-hmm.
uh, than the kid who's been playing pee wee, middle school football, and then getting to college. That kid is going to be behind.
Right.
And in the world of name, image, and likeness, where if you're a football player, you're making real money. If you're a college football star quarterback, you're making $500,000 to $1 million a year playing football. It can be life-changing money nowadays in the college world. It's not like the
Mm-hmm.
NFL where it was like 1 in 10,000 people make it to the NFL. Lots of people make it to college. And the opportunity to play football, get an education, make a little money. If you're the kid that grew up in the trailer park or on the street or a poor family, now football is a gateway to making money, to getting an education, starting a career, and just saying, hey, just because you live in California or Colorado or somewhere else, you don't have the same opportunities. And like he was just saying in his comments, especially when you're talking Pee Wee. If you've ever seen a Pee Wee game, it's the cutest thing. I mean, those little kids are running around. You can watch little kids soccer games get harder hit than you can in a Pee Wee football game a lot
Yeah,
of
I was
times.
I was gonna add that football's not the only like heavy contact sport. So, you know, if they decide to ban tackle football for children under the age of 12, does that mean other sports are going to have bans on them as well until a certain age, you
Yeah,
know?
right. And I was going to say the same thing. I agree. If you're going to go to California and say, hey, tackle football, then you've opened up Pandora's box. And who's to say a kid that's doing boxing? You know how many little kids take karate classes
Yup.
and the things that as a kid growing up, there's always, you can't wrap everyone in bubble wraps. Part of being a kid, and just like Niner Game was saying, organized sports teaches kids a lot more than just sports. It
Mm-hmm.
teaches them how to deal with other people, how to work as a team, how to think as a group and work as a group. Football does a lot of good. Organized sports do a lot of good
Mm-hmm.
in shaping young Americans. And so I'm a product of that. And I think it's really does more good than harm. And I think, and ultimately, I agree, it is not as dangerous for especially little kids as one would think. So, you know, I love your comment, my friend. Thank you for contributing because I liked hearing what you had to say.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I really appreciate the comments. It's our first comment. um Alrighty, well, with that, We are going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, we'll dive into our oddities of the day.
Okay, I'm curious. I have no clue what's coming up, so let's do this.